Good morning, everybody. I'd like to go ahead and call to order the Nevada Commission for the Reconstruction of the V&T Railway. It's Wednesday, May 28th, 2025. It is 9:01 a.m. and we are here at the Carson City Community Center Robert Bob Kroll Boardroom. Could I get a roll call, please?
Chair Peterson,
Present.
Vice Chair Mitchell,
I'm here.
Treasurer Cruz,
Here.
Secretary Hicks.
Here.
A quorum is present.
All right, fantastic, everybody. Let's go ahead and get everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, everybody. With that, we'll move on to agenda item 4, public comment. The public is invited at this time to comment on or discuss any topic that is relevant to or within the authority of this public body. Any public comment? No takers. All right. With that, we'll move on to agenda item 5 for possible action, approval of the minutes of the April 23rd, 2025 meeting. Does anybody have any edits or comments about the minutes that are in the packet? Okay. Anybody want to make a motion on the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes of April 23rd, 2025.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie, for that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on item 5? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Great. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. With that, we'll move on to agenda item 6 for possible action, discussion and possible action regarding the V&T Commission Statement of Accounts Payable checks paid March 1st through the 31st, 2025. The total this month is $37,593.01 for the March checks payable. Any questions on the checks for this month? Leah, anything? No. Okay. Leah has no additional comments on this particular item. If there are no questions, if anybody wants to make a motion, that would be super.
I move to approve the payable checks as presented.
Thank you, Stephanie, for that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Great. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on item 6? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Motion carries unanimously. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to agenda item 7 for possible action, discussion and possible action regarding the V&T Commission's adjusted fiscal year 2025 budget reports for the period ended March 31st. So the comparative statement has adjusted revenue totaling $1,312,026.36 and expenses totaling $1,271,102.56. And this is through March. Any questions, comments on this item? The one thing I did talk to Sherry, because our next item is the bank balance, but on this item, because it's through March, the deposit from Story County, technically we'll see that reflected in the April statement. So I just wanted to clarify that on the record. But if are there any questions? Clay, anything on this one? Okay.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion on item 7?
I move to approve the budget report as presented.
Great. Thank you for that motion, Leah. Do I have a second?
I second.
All right. We have a motion. Second. Any further discussion on item number 7? Okay. Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Great. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right. Let's move on to agenda item 8 for discussion only. This is a presentation and discussion regarding the V&T Commission's current bank balance. This is something that we've all wanted, and I appreciate now that this is an item on our meetings every month. So as of May 19th, 2025, our bank balance was $1,206,768.08. Any questions, comments? I know this is just really an update for everybody. Do we feel comfortable with that? Okay, and this does have the 250 obviously in it because of the, okay, the timing. Okay, awesome. Okay, great. Well, that's just an update item there. So with that, we will move on to agenda item number 9. Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and take up agenda item 9. We have discussion and possible action regarding the final budget for fiscal '26 for the V&T Railway Commission. Pursuant to NRS 354.598, interested persons must be given an opportunity to be heard regarding the tentative budget. I will first call out for questions from the public. Are there any questions or input from the public on agenda item 9? Hearing none. No input from the public. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the commission to discuss if there are any changes to be made in the fiscal year 25-26 tentative budget. And Jennifer, I see you're on. So if you want to, or I can too from your notes, but if you want to do a quick summary of some of the changes at this time, I think that would be appropriate.
Sure. Good
Thank you.
morning. This is Jennifer McCain, Story County Comptroller for the record. The changes from the tentative to the final budget are an increase in professional services of $5,000 for additional grant writing. As well, in capital outlay, we have an additional $200,000 for various work on your track that has been requested that will be funded by the rail tax that Story County receives. So that brings your total capital outlay to $925,000. And that also includes a van that is rolling over. I do have a couple of formatting changes that won't affect anything that you're signing, but I did notice that the uploaded documents, page 2, schedule A2, should only be on one page. So I will reprint that one page just for transparency, letting you know before it's submitted, as well as page 3, which is schedule F1. There is a total on the side of the whole spreadsheet. That was merely for my calculation purposes to make sure that all the sheets balance with each other. So I'll remove that total as to not confuse taxation and reprint that sheet, but there'll be no dollar figures changing.
Thank you, Jennifer, for that update. And then I forgot to mention the one piece of late material that was posted late Friday
yes.
morning was the letter from taxation, basically accepting our tentative budget that we submitted back in April. So just for the record, that was posted as late material on Friday. Clay, I was also just wanted to address, you had asked us to take a look at the marketing dollars for advertising purposes. And we did talk to Regina about the amount that it was allocated in the tentative budget as to whether or not that would be sufficient to get us through all of next fiscal year. And she was comfortable with the money that we did set aside. So we didn't add any more money in light of the conversation that we had with Regina.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any questions from the commission on this particular item, or any questions for Jennifer? Okay, hearing none. If anybody wants to make a motion on what will be our final budget, that would be awesome.
I move to approve the V&T Commission final budget for fiscal year 2026 as presented.
Perfect. All right. With the changes noted from Jennifer. Okay, perfect. So we have a motion from Leah. Do I have a second?
I second.
Great. We have a motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Leah, and team for putting together, I think, a really, really good budget for next year. So many thanks to all of you. All right. Great.
Dave, one more.
Yes. Oh,
quick
yes. I'm sorry.
thing.
Yeah. Go ahead.
This is
Go ahead.
Jennifer again. If everyone present could please sign the front page for Sherry and she could drop it off at my office on
Yep.
her way back through Virginia City, I can get that submitted to taxation.
We will do that, Jennifer. Yep. No
Okay.
problem at all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a
Thank you
great
again.
day.
Yeah. You too. You too, Jennifer. Take care. Thanks again. All right. So I know we're early. Well, Clay set this record of 24 minutes and 48.3 seconds, I mean, and so I wanted to take a crack at that. Okay, so we're going to go a little bit out of order because I don't see Melissa on either, or Regina. So what I'd like to do is move ahead to agenda item 12. So we'll come back to 10 and 11 to see if we can get the ladies on the WebEx. So with that, let's skip to agenda item 12 for discussion only. This is discussion and presentation regarding fiscal year 25 and 26 track maintenance activities. So Chris is here, so I'll let Chris come on up and, just state your name for the record. Chris, we all know who you are, but for the record, and if you'll just kind of talk to us about everything that's been going on with the track maintenance, where you see things moving in the future, that would be fantastic.
Sounds good. Chris from Battleborn Rail. Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We've been pretty busy on the tracks. We got a list that we submitted to you guys a few months ago. We got 90% of it completed. The big landslide, we had to wait because of equipment rental wasn't available. It was a busy time of the year for them. Had lots of inspections from like the PUC, FRA, all them. Everything looks good. They're happy with everything. Tom seems to be happy with everything. He has a few requests for this next year, which I kind of agree. But everything on the tracks is looking great. There's still minor issues that we're going to throw in on our inspections with light maintenance. And yeah, it looks good.
Do you feel comfortable for next fiscal year with budget, what we have allocated, that we'll be able to accomplish what we need to do, and then in your conversations with Tom, some other things that he has pointed out, you feel good about getting
Yeah, I
everything
feel
done?
pretty confident.
Okay.
It depends on Tom. He throws some of these wild curveballs sometimes. So, I don't, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good.
But
Okay.
yeah, he wants us to actually look into dumping rock soon because there's a lot of spots that need ballast.
Okay.
But all the heavy maintenance for this year, I think, is pretty good until after Polar.
Okay.
So
Great. Well, that's awesome. And then you're aware we have a pretty, I know we'll get to this, but a sizable allocation from the rail tax to do the work from Story County, up to the top. And so I'm not sure how, if you're helping with that, I don't know how that's going to work right at this point.
okay.
But there is a pretty big chunk of money that Leah's going to talk about in just a minute. But
Okay.
so I look forward to getting some of that work started as well. I don't know if it can be all completed by June 30, but hopefully we can, knock out as much of that as possible. But a lot of that's Overman, I think, right? The Overman pit and everything.
Yeah, I heard a
So-
rumor. Tom was talking, and one of the engineers that came out and checked that they were talking about redoing the bottom part of Oberman,
Yeah,
And,
I think so.
and that would be awesome because I think they should have done the whole thing to begin with. It probably wasn't cost effective, but
Gotcha.
for the amount of maintenance we've had to throw at the two ends of that thing, it was probably a better design. They should have just done it all at once.
Gotcha.
Because there's weeks that we throw away at that thing at a time
Right.
to keep it in spec.
Yep.
And if they do the rest of it, I don't think they'll ever have a problem with it again. If they do, it'll be 20 years, 30 years down the line.
Oh, geez, that'll be. Oh, Steph will still be dealing with it, but the rest of us will have moved on. So, wow, that's good. All right. Well, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Are there any questions from the commission for Chris on any of the work that's been done or is anticipated to be done? Clay, anything? I can't see Clay again.
I don't have question, but I just want to say thank you for the efforts. That's great to be 90% complete. Wonderful.
And we also, we purchased another high railer. So, because Tom brought it up that we're going to have some kind of an emergency vehicle. So
Oh,
we got
cool.
another high railer on the rails. We're testing it now.
Okay.
So the next couple of weeks, we'll know if we have another rail vehicle for the commission.
Well, that's awesome.
So
Appreciate that, Chris. That's lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Excellent. Okay, Clay, Leah, anything for Chris?
You're welcome.
Good to go. Thank you.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, Chris. Well, appreciate that. Thank you for your time. Okay, I see Melissa is on. Melissa, can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay. With that, Lucas, I'm going to go
Am I
back to
late?
11.
I'm not late, am I?
No. There was some peer pressure and bullying that was taking place earlier about me moving these meetings along in a more efficient pace. So yes, you missed it, but my therapist and I will catch up later this week. With that, we're going to go back since you're on, Melissa. We're going to because we skipped 10 and 11, we're going to come back to 11. So I'd like to take up agenda item 11 for discussion only, a discussion and presentation regarding the fiscal year 2025 media campaign. So Melissa, I know it's weird because you're on the WebEx, but just state your name for the record, and then I'm going to let you take it from here.
All right. Sorry, I got to turn off my phone. Excuse me, Melissa Dietz from Dietz Media and Marketing.
Can you still hear us?
And
Oh,
yeah.
oh, okay. Oh, I
Yep.
thought you were stuck for a second there. Okay, sorry, because you were just. I thought she froze. I'm so sorry. I thought you froze up for a second.
I'm just sitting stiffly. Oh, I'm so sorry. So I did Melissa Dietz from Dietz Media and Marketing, and then did you want me to go right into the plan?
Yes, please, if you will, that would be
Okay.
super.
Okay. So I don't know if you have my report to post up there, but I can just go through it without it as well, because I have a copy on my end. So we launched our campaign. We actually started our search and our retargeting campaign back in March. And those are really just kind of soft lead-ins for people who are trying to get ahead of the season and get some information. The bulk of our campaign really kicks in right before Mother's Day to kick off that Mother's Day event. So we had our outdoor, which started on April 14th. We had our television start on April 28th. We had our radio start on April 28th. And then we also kicked in with more online display advertising and online video starting on May 1st, technically. So we actually were really happy. I know when we met with the board, or when I met with the board, we initially were talking about budgets, and I was concerned because none of the TV stations were all holding to their rates from last fall, which is very odd because last year was a political year. And I dragged my feet placing orders with them because I wasn't happy with them. And somewhere the pressure came down to where everybody was able to lower their rates. So we ended up actually with our campaign for television, we were actually able to extend it from 4 weeks to 5 weeks and still stay within the budget. So we were happy with that because that actually should help us deliver over the course of the campaign. We were estimating 1.2 million impressions, and now we're looking at 1.9 million impressions. So we were pretty happy with that. So our television will run through the June 1st with our 5-week campaign. This includes mostly news programming on ABC, NBC, CBS. In the mornings, in the evenings, and on weekend news. We like weekend news. It gets really good ratings, but it has really low rates. So it's kind of like we get something on sale there. So that's nice. With radio, also, again, everybody's budgets, radio, we were expecting them to go up and they didn't go up. So, excuse me, we went ahead with this radio package that we buy from Reno Media Group because we, feel like the group, most of their stations are probably better aligned with the V&T Railway audience. So what we do with them is we buy this package where we get 14 spots a week on 9 stations. So we're running 122 commercials a week across these 9 stations. They estimate that we deliver over 204,000 impressions per week. And with this campaign, we're going to be running this. We ran 2 weeks for Mother's Day. And then when Mother's Day was over, we picked up and ran another 5 weeks, or will run another 5 weeks, just with a general marketing campaign. So we'll run that one through June 15th. And that in total is expected to deliver just over 1 million impressions. Let's see. With outdoor, oh, I'm sorry, did you have a question?
Does anybody have a question on the television side? Do you want to do radio real quick? Just in terms of the way it, or are you comfortable? I didn't know if you want to say anything on the radio. That's on our first page of the report, Melissa?
I did.
Okay.
Maybe I cut out there? Did I cut out there? Because I did talk about radio.
Oh, okay.
That we're-
That's my fault. Sorry. That's on me. That's on me. Sorry, Melissa. Go ahead.
David, are you ignoring me?
No, no. Maybe. I'm trying to coordinate Regina, I'm sorry, to come on now. So sorry. Okay, my apologies. Go ahead with outdoor.
Did you want me to brush on radio again real quick? Do you have any questions?
No, I mean, I'm okay.
Okay.
Everybody seems okay.
Okay. All right. So with the outdoor, we did make a little bit of a change because we had such great savings from our budget from TV and radio not increasing. Not only were we able to run more with those, but we still had a little bit extra that left over that for Mother's Day, we decided we wanted to, instead of doing our traditional posters, which there is nothing wrong with doing a poster, but we wanted to try and go out and see if we could do some digital ads on the big digital boards. And Lamar had a great package and they worked a great rate with us that we were able to afford that. So what we did is we ran on what they call a Sierra Digital Display Network. And with this one, what ends up happening is that we have 5 digital boards that are in prominent positions around town. So you would see one that's on South Meadows Parkway. We have one that's over on 580 north of Glendale, like right there by Grand Sierra Resort. We have one over on East McCarran by Greg, where they get all that backed up, commuter traffic going back out to Spanish Springs and Sparks. We have another board on I-80 right by I-580, right by the Spaghetti Bowl. And our last board is on Sparks Boulevard by I-80, right by Legends Mall. And so what they do is instead of us having to pay for each one of those locations, they basically will let us like run one location, and then 8 seconds later we move on to the next board, and then 8 seconds later we move on to the next board, and we just kind of keep doing that, rotating through the market. So I think it gives us greater reach. I don't know that it gives us greater frequency, but I did like the reach and I liked the idea of getting out to the market in broader areas. So we were able to take advantage of that. They were able to adjust the Mother's Day creative that we had to resize it for the digital board. So that worked out really well. We were going to try to do this for the general admission session or for the general session, and they can't resize that board. And I know I've been working with David and Sherry on just maybe next year, what we'll have to do is we'll just see if we can get something built that we can work with. What we're going to end up doing is going and running the posters again. And again, there's nothing wrong with the posters. I like them, but we did want to try something different. But we'll work with the outdoor company to get the posters up here in the next couple of weeks so that we have those out there for the remaining, for another month in the summer. That's all I have on outdoor. Do we have any questions on that part?
Any questions on the outdoor? I thank you. I mean, I love that rotation idea between the digital billboards, and I'm sorry that we're unable to get the necessary file spec or whatever to do what you wanted to do this year, but we'll definitely, I think, have to just get something created. I'm not giving up hope that we'll get something. Maybe we can use that to build out the right file size for next year. But I know that just doesn't seem to be in the cards right now. So, but I do look forward to mixing that up a little bit moving forward. So thank you.
The outdoor company has a great designer, and I'm trying to think of when there has been a time that he hasn't been able to redesign something or to help us with that. And it's very rare. I can't even think of another occasion, but they were on this one. They just said, we just can't resize this one. So, but we can work on that, and we'll get those other posters up, and we'll make sure that we have them in some prominent places in the market. So I will include photos of that and locations when we do our probably the June report, which will come in mid-July. So moving on to online media, we're happy with how all of that is launching and the results we're getting from that. I think so we have search remarketing, display and online video. What was kind of most appealing to me, which I always love seeing this, is that we have a great digital guy who just always kind of blows the Google benchmarks out of the water. And he did that again here. It's kind of tricky because we have to find a sector that somewhat aligns with what we're trying to do. And so we took a look at the arts and entertainment sector and then also the travel sector that's as close as we're going to get. But even still, arts and entertainment, the Google benchmarks at 13.10%, that's like the highest benchmark that they set for all of the sectors that they take a look at. And we blew that out of the water at 25.08%. So this just means that we're really finding the right people. They're clicking through to the V&T Railway site and taking a little bit more look at that information. We were also excited about the fact, oh, dang it, I didn't put this in here. I'll have to provide you these numbers, but I did look at the cost per click. Oh, I do have it in here. So our cost per click for search is 30 cents. The cost per click for these other sectors were at $1.60 and $2.12. So we're doing it well and we're doing it efficiently. So we're really happy with that. In April, we saw a 20% increase in clicks versus March. And we expect probably just to see that through the summer where people start getting geared up and just looking for more information. And then also we had kicked off just a little, we had our outdoor that launched in April. So that might have done a little something to help trigger some of those searches. The top 5 keywords were train adventure, Virginia City train, V&T Railroad, travel by train, and train travel USA. So I'm not sure if any of those, I mean, obviously Virginia City train rings true for all of us and V&T Railroad, but I didn't know if maybe any of those other keywords were of prominence to any of you where it's like, oh yeah, that makes complete sense. So train travel USA seemed a little broad, but it was like, all right, we'll take it. So
Do you think
with
that,
all of that,
can I just ask you a question, Melissa? Do you think the Train Travel USA, do you think that might be influenced by international visitors, people outside the country perhaps, or I don't know if we can tell that or not, like where the people?
I don't think, geez. I can ask my digital guy that might be a
Okay.
little bit of a stretch.
Okay.
Like it, yeah. I don't know. And I don't recall this one popping up on our list this high before. So
Right.
maybe it is with folks. I know that we've seen some interesting numbers. Like last summer, we were seeing numbers like out of Bangkok and like international places when we were working on stuff for Virginia City that it was like, wow, that's different. We're not used to seeing those numbers. So maybe.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you just ask, I'm always
Yeah.
curious because you're right. I don't recall that being on our list of top 5 or even top 10
Yeah.
in the past.
Yep.
So, okay.
Okay.
Great.
Yep. I will ask about that. I'm gonna write myself a note.
Nice work on everything.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah,
good
we're
work.
really happy with these 1,600 clicks that we've had, or more than 1,600 clicks. Online video obviously doesn't typically get clicks because people, if they're watching it on their TV, it's not like they're going to click on something. So that kind of drowns stuff out, but we're still happy with the 10,000 impressions that we were able to get there. So not a bad start, I think, for the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I see. You're right about the news because it's like I can't escape it when I'm on KOLO. I see it and it looks great. I like that you used the new footage and everything from that commercial shoot that we did. I think it looks really cool for it's just a short clip, to fit that in. So, are there any questions from Melissa on the online media, the search? Okay. Thank you, Melissa. Any questions in general? Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming and doing this update. It's something I'd like to, consider that we do on a monthly basis. I think it just helps us. If you're running into issues, we can help. Or if you're seeing something to be more responsive, if we need to be changing things up a little bit, for sure. So many thanks for popping on
sure.
this morning. All right. Wonderful.
All right.
Take care, Melissa. Thank you.
Thanks.
Regina.
All right.
Yep. Thank you. Regina, can you hear us? I think you're muted. Regina? Are you able to unmute yourself? Oh, is that on our end? Okay, hang tight for just a second. Regina?
Can you hear me?
Oh, perfect. Okay, yep,
Oh,
now we
there
can.
it is.
Oh, okay, excellent, okay. With that,
Okay, good.
we're gonna go back and let's open up item 10 for discussion, only discussion and presentation regarding fiscal year 25 social media campaign. So we have Regina Flores from Lamont Media. Just state your name for the record. I know it's weird. You're on the thing and not here in the room, but I'm gonna turn it over to you, Regina, to give us an update.
Okay, great. Thank you. Regina Flores for the record. Good morning, everyone. And I'm going to give a brief update on our social media efforts. So as you all may know, I have been doing the organic side of social media for a couple of years now. I'm going to give some stat updates since I am really excited about how socials are performing. So let me just go through each platform. We are, as you may know, on Facebook and Instagram. I would definitely like to discuss adding us on YouTube and TikTok in the near future. I do see value in doing so since we're already doing more video content than in previous years, and the more reach, the better. So that's something to discuss perhaps in a future meeting. Let's see here. On Facebook, we're at 17,434 followers. And link clicks, we've got, and this is a measurement from just this year starting in January. So link clicks have gone up by 365% with about 2,000. So that's anytime someone sees a post on our Facebook and they click it, that's just organic clicks. We have 210,000 views with a reach of 97,000 people, and that is a 48% increase since last year, so from January until today, this year compared to January until May of 2024. We have 3-second views are up by 30%, and that's because we've been doing a lot more of that short form content. Content interactions have increased by 20%, with a total watch time of 10 hours this year, and that's just short form content since we don't do any long form video on these platforms yet. Followers have increased by about 4,000 on Facebook, and on Instagram, we have had about 54,000 views that's a 78% increase, and that's also due to that short form content that we've been doing. And content interactions on Instagram have also increased quite a bit by about 104% compared again to this time last year. We've sent out this year's 6 e-blasts with an open rate of 27.6 and a click rate of 1.6%. And that is a little bit lower than last year, but we did more emails in this time span this year than last year, so that could be why. Another initiative we introduced more of this year has been influencer marketing. So my social media coordinator, Maria, who's been in touch with David and Sherry and Candy, has been researching local influencers that would be good candidates for trying out a train ride in exchange of their content. A lot of these local influencers have over 3,000 to 20,000 followers, and that's how people make a lot of their tourism decisions in the area, is by following these accounts and taking action based on their recommendations. So we had one influencer join on the train ride, Debbie, this past Sunday, and we have another one that we're in contact with. Her name is Sammy, and I'll be in touch with more details to coordinate her train ride. But yeah, I'm excited to see what more we can do with influencer marketing. It's very impactful since the local community is so small. A lot of these influencers really do have a lot of influence on families and people in the area. So really excited about that. And yeah, with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Thank you, Regina. I really do appreciate your efforts on the organic side of things and with the newsletters. Are there any questions for Regina? And Clay, sorry, if you had a question, I wasn't ignoring you on the last agenda item.
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Okay. I would just like to ask a general question. I know Melissa's still on too, but how do you feel things are working this year compared to last year, you know, relative to driving ticket sales? Are we comfortable with the approach, like where we're at coming in, you know, a couple weeks before the weekend? Do we feel comfortable? You know, do we need to beef that up? Do we need to be, you know, I don't know, 3, you know, weekends or whatever in advance of the weekend that we're trying to help influence ticket sales? Just a general question, because I don't know. My observation is I feel like we're not driving the same ticket sales this year, and I know it's early, right? But so, and I'm not faulting anybody, but it just seems like last year, you know, we might have had 30, 40 tickets on a Sunday, and we started with some of the social and tying that in with what Melissa's doing, you know, on the traditional side, and suddenly we would have 100 and something, you know, tickets sold, right, for that particular weekend. We seem to be less than that so far, and just wanted to get some feedback and some, you know, are there things we could be doing differently, or do we need to, you know, again, go out further, like a week further away from the weekend we're trying to impact with ticket sales? Any thoughts that you all might have?
Yes. Yes, and this is Regina speaking. Definitely more than a week in advance to do any paid social media would be a lot more beneficial than doing it the week of with just a few days in advance. So I believe Maria reached out and she proposed doing ongoing campaigns for the general season and then boosting certain weekends when ticket sales might be expected to be lower. And I don't know if that's something that's easy to measure on your end, where you know that certain weekends will have lower sales just based on historical data. But if we can get an ongoing campaign out, that would be really helpful, since we do see how last-minute paid ads can help. If they were better planned out with just more time in advance, I think that would be really, really beneficial on my end.
Leah wants to jump in. Go ahead, Leah.
I just have a comment. I agree. I love this idea that Regina just said. I think that's wonderful. But I will say, just from we meaning Virginia City, have a few events under our belt already this season. And I'm just going to say, across the board, attendance to everything has become very last minute and lower. It's just, I think the nature of where we are globally and where the economy sits and everything, a lot of people are waiting until the very last minute or passing on certain things. So like I said, just a comment to throw out there. I don't think any of us are doing anything incorrectly. I think that her idea is wonderful, and I think that will help a lot. But just as I'm feeling things out on our side, we're seeing a lot of things go down. So
I can concur and agree. We just had our Stetna's bike race. Literally, now, different situation with some of the biking world that I learned about literally the last 2 weeks leading up into that race. But we had 60-something people register the week of the race, right? And these are from outside the area. That's how you're right about this last-minute nature of events and the things that are happening out there in the world. So I love the ongoing campaign. I think, and then maybe coordinating with Candy as well, because we know we struggle with the diesel trains. And so I'm just thinking, if there's a way that, you know, we're a couple, 2-3 weeks out in advance, maybe we are actually impacting then 2 or 3 weeks of trains if we're doing it as an ongoing campaign. And maybe that will help with some consistency. I'm not saying diesel's suddenly going to, you know, have the same ridership as the steam trains would, but maybe we can build the base or whatever, you know, for steam, raise that a little bit, and then especially for the diesel trains as well. So I say, yeah, let's, you know, rock and roll on the ongoing. And I did see that, and I was thinking, I feel like maybe I didn't respond, and I apologize if I didn't. because I love the idea when you shot that through. But I'd say let's work as a team on that, and especially if there are events that are coming into town, either in Virginia City or Carson City too, maybe we can play off of that as well if we have the trains running that particular weekend. So I like that idea. Are there any other?
Hey.
Oh, go ahead, Melissa, please.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, this is Melissa Dietz for the record. I do have another idea of something that I was sitting on for a little bit. We were trying to wait to get through Mother's Day because usually Mother's Day will sell out. And now with the change that we're going to make with outdoor, I think we have this in the budget to do this. KTVN had proposed doing a contest of sorts on their website or in a newsletter that they send out to their viewers. And I don't know how open you are to doing like ticket giveaways, but they've had very good response with other events of where they'll do a ticket giveaway and then they get people to click through and we can get those email addresses so that we can send out newsletters or additional information to prospects going forward. So if I can make that work within the budget, are we allowed to do contesting? And is that something that you'd be interested in doing?
I don't see why not. If we're not going to run the contest though, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so we would just be providing the tickets. I don't see an issue with
Correct.
that. I know the state has some rules about sweepstakes versus contest, but if KTVN is managing that and we're simply, providing sets of tickets, I don't think that's a bad. I'm just speaking for myself, but I'll let the others weigh in. I think maybe we could boost something up and like it's a weekend getaway type situation. We just did something as Visit Carson City. We partnered with a hospital to help them with something for the Quad Counties, and it was sort of like a weekend getaway. We put a whole package together with rooms and food and the whole 9 yards. I mean, the dirty dough people, for some cookies and all that stuff. So maybe we could do it as like a package to incentivize people. If you talk to them and see if they think that might not be a bad idea.
Actually, you and my rep are on the same page because he said the same thing where he was going to try to use some of his connections up in Virginia City to see if he could get somebody to throw in lunch or something like that to, make it a ride and a lunch or something. And I can
love
get
it.
some more details and flesh this out further. We were just kind of sitting tight because I just didn't know if I had it in my budget, and it's not crazy expensive, but I just didn't want to get too far over my skis.
I think it's great. I was looking at Leah when you said lunch in Virginia City. She was shaking her head no, which confused me. Working for the DMO up there, I was surprised to see that. So maybe they want to do lunch in Carson City because we welcome all visitors here in the capital.
Right.
I think that's not a bad idea. So thoughts? You guys
Okay.
like that? Stephanie, go ahead.
I was going to say for discussion only purposes, I agree. It's a great idea. And then maybe something that comes back to us for like a formal approval or action on a future agenda.
I think that's not a bad idea. Do you think you could put something together for the June meeting, Melissa?
Yes.
Yeah,
When is the
perfect.
June meeting?
It will be the fourth Wednesday of that month, which is the 20-something.
The 25th.
Fifth.
Okay. All
Is
right.
that
Yes, I
fair?
will have something together.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and then we can have a conversation about it, and we'll put that as an action item. I love it. That's great.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And then I just would say to Regina, I like what you all are doing with the influencers. I think that's a great new element to our marketing PR efforts. So I'm excited to have those folks come on as well. And maybe that's an option for us with those discount code things. If we get a particular influencer and they have a particular audience, we could offer something to that audience and we would be able to tie it back because we'd have a particular code, to see how impactful us collaborating with them might be. So just something to think about. I'm not an expert on any of this by any stretch of the imagination, but I get wild ideas about how we can try to take advantage of these relationships in a good way, but to have a tracking component to it, right, as well, to tie it back to our ticket sales. So, okay, super. This is great. It's exciting stuff. Any last questions for Regina? Oh, Regina's gone. And never mind, if there was, she wouldn't be able to answer it anyway. Okay. All right, I don't know what happened there. Okay, fair enough. Great. All right, well, with that, we're going to get back on track here, and we'll open up agenda item 13 for discussion only. Discussion and presentation regarding a request from the VNT Railway Commission to the Story County Board of Commissioners to allocate an amount not to exceed $850,000 from the VNT Rail Fund, which is collected and maintained by Story County, to the Commission for Track Improvement Projects. I'm going to let Leah, since you were kind enough, and appreciate you while I was out, to present to the Story County Commission, just give us an update
I
on this.
asked for the money and they gave me the money.
Oh, wow.
It was amazing.
I'm looking at Lucas. He's stunned. I mean, at how efficient you are.
David was out.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how long that meeting would have been if Dave went? All right, no, in all seriousness, I did go up and I cited the main projects, the Overman Pit, something's beeping, and some ballast and drainage work. So, and I did already send over the letter requesting the funds, and I think we're good to go. So, and it was nice to have Clay, because Clay sits on the Board of County Commissioners, so it was nice to have, some help on his side, I guess, to,
For
to make
sure.
sure we got it all going. But yeah, I asked for the money, and they said sure.
Wow, okay. Well, you will do all future presentations to the Story County Commission then, it sounds like.
your wages.
Yeah. Clay, anything from your perspective, just from Story County Commission perspective, that you want to add? I'll give you an opportunity.
No, everything's pretty cut and dry. Thank you.
Okay. So I think then next steps for us, probably, Clay, you and I might need to, oh, we lost Clay. No, is Clay, oh, he's there, okay. Regroup with
I'm
the
here.
Wood Rogers folks then, because I know we need an engineering piece of this. I'm looking at Stephanie too, but, and then I'm assuming Chris can take on, some of this work, which will be great, but I think we'll have to go back to, and I can't remember that gentleman's name. I think it's Brian, but not Jim. I think Brian is the guy we need to speak to, because we'll have to, I assume, put some sort of a contract together and bring it back to the board to help us with that work. Does that sound right, Stephanie and Clay? You feel comfortable with that approach?
I think so, yeah. Have them come back for design contract.
Okay, perfect. So we'll get on that, and then Chris, you'll be the first to know, as far as getting this work up and running. So cool. Well, thank
Is that
you.
something they're gonna do in the operating season or after?
As far as the timing of it during the operating season, I don't know the answer. I honestly don't know the answer to that question.
early.
I don't know, because you're right, the Overman, it's not like we can just take that.
Well, after polar, you're kind of socked in with weather and not a
Right.
lot of work can get done up that high.
So we'll have to figure that all out, I think, and put whatever you call that, some kind of a plan, I guess, a maintenance or reparation plan together. So I'm not the one to lead that charge. I don't deal in that kind of stuff, but maybe Stephanie can help, given your vast experience on the public works side of things, to help us get something in order. Because it'd be nice to try and utilize as much of that money as possible, before we have to go back and, ask, build it into the next fiscal 27 budget and all that good stuff. So, okay, fantastic. All right, Leah, thank you. Clay, thank you to you and your peers on the county commission for allowing us to move forward with this work. So I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. With that, we're going to move on to agenda item 14 for discussion only. Discussion and presentation regarding the Nevada Department of Transportation Railroad Report. We have Gabe with us from the PUC, Public Utilities Commission. And thank you, Gabe, for being here. Just state your name for the record officially.
Gabe Williman. Gabe Williman.
Welcome home, Gabe.
Yeah, we miss you. Now we have to be professional because he's a state employee. Yes.
I'm very professional in my job now.
Critical word. Just let us know how we did based on the report. It looks great, but
Yeah,
I'll let you
the-
talk through it.
Everything is looking good. I did an inspection with Chris yesterday, and everything, signs are getting put up. Signs are getting stolen, but signs are getting put up as fast as they're getting stolen. So that's unfortunately great, but also horrible. I don't know how to stop people. Yeah, Chris has a great idea by taking V&T RW off the signs.
Oh,
And then people, yeah, that's
Really?
what, yeah, constantly.
can we do that? Would that be permissible?
There's nothing that says you need that except for on the little blue signs.
Okay.
The ENS signs have to have, certain regulations to follow. But as far as crossing and no trespassing, I would take the V&T RW off, and maybe jack wagons will stop stealing them.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah. No, if we can, yeah, if we can do that, let's do that with the new signs that we order. I think that's a brilliant. Come up, Chris, if you don't mind. Sorry.
Chris, Battleborn Rail. Yeah, we've already started, like on some of the smaller ones, we made sure it was okay and we started taking off that logo and then we actually welded the bolts.
Ah.
So
Okay.
those are the ones that are constantly getting stolen at the end,
Okay.
but now it's starting at the top. So we're
Wow.
gonna have to
Okay.
switch to the top and do the same thing.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
No, I like that idea. Okay. Sounds great, you guys.
And
Any-
as,
anything else, Gabe? You
as far as regulations go, like I tell the Union Pacific and everybody else, the way we regulate is the bare minimum. So I'm not regulating you guys to a class 5 standard. It's a class 2 standard, and it meets all the standards and exceeds for the
awesome.
most part,
Okay.
and it's the track's looking fantastic. But again, we are the lowest minimum standards,
sure.
and it took me a little while to get that into my thick skull with this new job, yelling at people like, hey, this can't be this way. Like, well, ugly's not a defect, So, I've gotten a pretty good groove, but yeah, everything's looking good. And he's doing a better job than I did.
Mm.
So,
We've realized that
Yeah.
since Chris took over the maintenance, but I didn't want to say anything. Stephanie was going to, but you brought it up first. No, I think, yeah, no, I really do appreciate, Chris, your work. I think it's been great and validated through the reporting and the inspections that you've been doing on the PUC side. So thank you.
no, thank you guys. Thank you guys for continuing maintenance. It's, you guys are one less headache that I have.
We
Yeah,
appreciate that.
and it's hard to regulate the track in the entire state,
Yeah.
and then have a problem child over here and a problem child over here and a problem child over there.
Right.
When I come here, it's a nice relaxing vacation. I get to write a simple, easy report. I appreciate you guys, and
Right.
and the fact that you guys do care really shows.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we
Thank
got a
you.
lot more coming in fiscal 26, as you just heard on the last item. So
Oh, yeah.
we're going to continue with the improvements and enhancements to the overall track. So
Fantastic.
good.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Gabe.
Thank
It's
you.
really good to see you again.
Great
And
seeing
any
you
questions
guys.
before Gabe skedaddles out of here? Okay.
Oh,
Clay, any? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
One other thing, I am getting with the FRA because all my reports go through a FRA system,
Okay.
and V&T RW does not have a code in the FRA system. So I
Oh,
am dealing with the FRA trying to get you guys your own code.
Okay.
So that way, when I do a report, it doesn't say the Virginia and Truckee Railroad Company.
okay. That
So-
explains. Okay. On the report.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I was wondering about that. Okay.
It's like a drop down menu,
And we're not there.
it's like from 1980. It's the worst system,
Okay.
but we deal with it. And I just have to, it's been a little tough since some positions have changed in the last few months.
Yep, I can only imagine. That only comes from the FRA then, right? You have to put the request in and they would have to create us, so to speak, in the
Exactly.
system. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that'll might take a year or 3 for
Well,
that to happen.
sometimes, before this new administration, I was able to get it done in a couple of days.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what it's like now.
Okay. No, fair
Yeah.
enough.
So,
Awesome.
all right.
Thank you, Gabe.
Thank you.
Chris. Yeah. Clay, I didn't know if you were trying to jump in there, so I apologize if I cut you off.
No, that's quite all right. I was just gonna ask, do we do maintenance? Was that in the budget we just approved?
Oh, he asked if we do maintenance. Is for the record, yes, we have an extensive maintenance budget.
Last train made it.
Yes, and yes.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure it was on the record.
Yes. Yes and yes. Great. Gabe, thank
But
you.
Thank you guys. And it was great seeing you guys again.
You too. Yes, take care. All right. With that, we will go ahead and move on to agenda item 15 for discussion only. So these are our monthly non-action items. We'll take up 15A, which is the executive assistant update. Sherry, take it away.
Good morning, Sherry Bailey, Executive Assistant. So a couple of updates. I did want to let everybody know the depot is in good order. We had the floors power washed, so it's bright and clean. We had a fire inspection, made some improvements there. Tom helped me fix up a couple of things, so that's all complete. So we're safe. The other thing that was a big project recently in April was getting the grant together for the Travel Nevada to tackle the content and population portion of our website through KPS3. Their estimate was $17,725. So fingers crossed, Travel Nevada lets us move forward and we'll supply half of those funds. Thank you, David and Leah, for helping me with that. That was kind of a big one. It was a group effort for sure. Let's see, I wish I could say Mother's Day weekend went off without a hitch, but there was a hitch. I'm hoping my partner in crime over here, Candy, will be able to shed a little bit of light on what happened. But basically, our train on May 10th, Saturday, got stuck. We ended up having to bring the whole load of train passengers back to the depot. Thanks to Candy, everyone was refunded their money on Monday. It was a sting to the commission in the amount of $15,250. But I was there at the end of the train when they were getting off. Most people were actually very understanding and very gracious, understood that things happen. We had, I think, one thing on Facebook that was just kind of nasty, but out of 200 some riders, we have one nasty person. You're kind of on the lucky side. I think that's it for me right now.
Thank you,
Did I
Sherry.
miss anything?
I'll just add the evaluation panel behind the grants with the rural marketing program. They did recommend that our grant moves forward. So I actually sit on the Territory Advisory Committee. We're meeting this afternoon to make the formal recommendation to the Commission on Tourism. So I feel good. Obviously nothing is set in stone because there's a meeting this afternoon and then the commission will meet in June. So we won't be able to, officially say anything until our June meeting. But if it's approved, because we're later in the month, we'll be able to bring a contract forward to get them started, on basically, I guess, I don't know, what's the full build out, of the website. So Yeah, great work on that. So excited. We'll see how things go, today and then in June. And forgive me, because I do not remember if it's the first or the second week of June when the Commission on Tourism meets to formally approve the grants for fiscal 26.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Good.
So, okay, questions for Sherry? Clay, anything for Sherry? Okay, great, okay. Thank you very much. With that, we will move on to 15B, Operations Trains Report. Candy is sitting in for Tom, who is traveling. Thank you, Candy.
Thank you. Good morning, Candy Duncan. Yes, we had an eventful Mother's Day. But as Tom would want me to point out, in 16 years of operations, the very first time anything like that has ever happened. And his company did their very best to try and get that train up the hill. The problem was, as I understand it, that the track had been over-greased, and I don't know how that happened. I'm not sure anybody really knows how that happened, but that was what happened. And in the steam engine, if the track's over-greased, the wheels slip, and they just couldn't get it up. They put sand on the track, everything. Then they brought down another diesel, thinking maybe it could pull it up, but that didn't work out either. And so that's why we had to come back. And it was unfortunate, but like Sherry said, we got them all refunded that Monday, and I really haven't heard a peep from any of them since. So I think,
Can I just mention, it is so fun, not funny, haha, but like, it's so funny to me when something like this happens, the amount of calls the Virginia City Visitor Center got
wow.
from people stuck on the
On
train.
the train,
We're stuck
yeah.
here. We need you to bring somebody
Yeah.
down here and get us off. And we're like,
What?
So
Yeah.
I'm glad that, we told them refunds would be forthcoming
Yes.
and all that, but it was hilarious that they reached out to
It
us.
was. They were calling me at home.
Yeah.
And I'm answering the phone. I'm thinking, wait, I just saw that train leave.
Yeah,
What are you
what's
talking
going on?
about?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you for all you guys did on that.
No, it was just one of those things, but we're moving forward. The next day was awesome. Sherry did a great job, and we've had mimosas and treats and everything. The depot looked great. And everybody was very happy with all the rest of it. So things happen. Looking at what's up ahead, as we were talking, we are a little slow in our ticket sales this year, and slower than last year. I pulled up the Fair Harbor report. Like, for instance, coming up this coming weekend, on Saturday so far, we have 4 one-ways at 10 o'clock in the morning, 93 round trips, and no return one-ways at 3. So we've only sold about half the tickets, and it's Wednesday. And then for the next day, on Sunday, we have 75 tickets sold for the round trip, and that's it. So yeah, and then there's steam trains. And then the following weekend is a diesel, and that one's 42. So yeah. And I did respond to, I think it was Regina. I responded to her, and or Maria maybe, and told her about the next 4 weekends coming up, the count that I had so far. So people are waiting until the last minute, and I'm selling more walk-ups than I used to too. So that's good too, although it kind of takes a little bit of time. but-
That's 100% true across the board with events too. Our walk-up sales are way more than they ever have.
Right,
So,
yeah. People just are waiting till the last
I think
minute.
that, this is just my personal, sorry to take over for a second here, but it used to be like $50 for an event or a ticket sale or whatever. You were like, oh, it's $50 if I don't go, it's fine. And
Yeah.
now people are like, that's $50.
Right,
Like, I don't know if I can go for sure, so I'm going to wait till the very last
Yeah.
second. Yada, yada. So I think that's a big part of it.
yeah, I do
So-
think our policy too is at 40, no, how many hours? 72 hours? And maybe we might want to shorten that for the cancellation policy. I don't know, because maybe might be what's
Yeah, that-
deterring them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've had, people miss flights. They
Yeah.
can't, so, yeah.
Hmm.
So we might want to think about that.
Maybe we should take a peek at that in light of the current
Right.
sort of economic environment. And, yeah, the last minute, I mean, I don't know, I'm a planner, so,
Right.
I'm months in advance for something, and then, leading all the way up into. So it cracks me up at how people can just sort of on a Friday, oh, well, we're just
Yeah.
going to drive 6 hours or whatever, and,
But that's so
go
much
do
more
stuff.
common now than it ever has been.
Yeah,
Yeah, gosh.
this
wow.
younger generation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Dave, that doesn't apply to you.
Lucas, make a note of the bullying. Thank you. There'll be a form that our DA will have you fill out after this meeting. Leah, thank you. So, yeah, okay. Then I do like this idea then of an ongoing campaign, because I think we
Yeah, I think
really need
that'll
to
be
crack a
good.
lack
Yeah.
on that. And if you're able to provide the advanced kind of
Sure.
ticket sales, and maybe we just update we'll get a cadence, if it's 3 weeks out for
Mhm.
this week, 2 weeks out,
Right.
and then the week of. And there's got to be something we can do if people truly are that last minute, like that Thursday, Friday, the day or 2 days before, that Saturday, Sunday. And
Mhm.
I'll talk with Lydia on my team as well to see, how we can help support.
Right.
Right. It's been really hard for the attractions and stuff up in, once again, I'm speaking solely for Virginia City, but the biggest thing that we kind of sort of not preach, but remind them is consistency. Even if you only get 2 people on one tour, like you've got to keep your
gotta
hours
keep
the
going,
same. You
yeah.
have to keep your newsletters going out exactly the same. So I think as long as we just keep pushing and that it's available, if you're here, do it. At least it will be top of mind when
Right.
they do decide
Yeah.
to do it.
And then also the other thing is I will be very happy when our new website is in place, because it is very hard for people right now to navigate. And so it'll be I'm keeping my fingers crossed, holding my breath for that, because a lot of people are getting very confused, but we're getting through it. And also I ran a report made a report about how many people are using the 10% Sunday discount. And so far, since the word has started to get out again, there's 21 of them, 21 parties that have used that discount. So that's in the month of May. So that's working pretty well. And what else was I going to tell you? I've been in touch with Fair Harbor about setting up ticket sales for Polar and having the assigned seating. And it looks like I'm going to be able to, thank you to the Virginia Truckee Railroad, use the already developed seating charts that they use on their site for our cars. So won't have to reinvent that wheel. So I'm a little nervous about it. So I'm starting very early to find out how that's all going to work. But I think that'll be really good. And we did have the influencer on the train. And I have to apologize. I was waiting for Tom to respond to whether or not they could bring candy on. And he's just been really busy, and I shouldn't have just been waiting. So by the time I answered her, it was too late. But I talked to her. She had a little bit of it. She didn't have enough for everybody. But I think we got that all straightened out. So I don't think Tom minds. I think I should just make executive decisions.
Exactly. Yeah. You're in charge now,
Yeah.
Candy. Yeah. Yeah, you're there. Yeah. Exactly.
No. I don't be in charge of anything at all. And other than that,
Awesome.
we're fun.
No, I would thank you, obviously, for getting everybody refunded. I think that was a critical response, and
Yeah.
doing it so efficiently by Monday was great, because I know it's not the easiest system probably to figure all of that
200
out.
tickets, 7 clicks per refund.
Oh, that's nothing. It's like, what, 14,000?
I know, right?
1,400,
Oh,
whatever
God.
clicks, yeah. No big deal,
No.
yeah, nah, MBD, as we say at home. No, thank you for doing that.
Sure.
And I'm glad that we were able to obviously run the trains on Sunday and got everything
Yeah, it's great.
resolved. And like you said, Tom did tell me, he's like, we were texting, he said, Dave, this has never happened.
No.
The whole time, I've never had a situation like that. So
I will say I'm glad that it was that and not something with, and because my first thought was like something was wrong with like the engine.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Oh,
When we
Yeah,
first
that would've
heard about
been-
it, I
yeah.
was like, oh no.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
not happy that it happened, but I'm happy
No.
that it was what it was or not.
Yeah.
Circumstances,
Something
yeah.
worse.
Yeah, he did
So-
send another diesel down for Sunday,
Sunday.
just in case. So that was kind of cool seeing the diesel and the steam engine pulling the three cars up the
Oh, nice.
hill. That was pretty cool.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. Well, we should have charged extra for that.
Yeah, right?
You know, that's a
Double the show.
exactly. Yeah. It's going to be 30%. We brought another engine down. No, yeah, thank you again, and I really appreciate the response and getting this all resolved. So thank you,
Sure.
thank you, thank you. Any questions for Candy? Clay, anything for Candy? Okay. I'm not hearing anything. Thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
With that, we'll move on to 15C, Chairman update. So I have a couple things that I just want to. One is an update, and then one is a very exciting opportunity. I wish Tom was here, but Candy, you'll have to relay, and then I'll definitely on the second one reach out to Tom. But I'm probably going to do it with Lydia once you hear what I have to say. On the website front, I am happy to say that KPS3 completed the content development for the primary, so the 5 primary pages on this original contract that we have. It's our hope, I'm including Leah in here, that we will get a staging link at some point later this week. So I was really hoping to have it today, but we don't have it, just to kind of see how that looks and feels. And basically, the guidance that we gave was, we know we need to build out the whole site, right? Not just 5 pages and then try to, fill in content here and there. And so the direction that we gave to Mike and the team was, let's think long-term about this. So let's build out the initial part, because we did receive a Travel Nevada grant, right, from the Commission on Tourism for that part. And we have to show something, right? So we'll have the staging website, which will fulfill our obligation, to be reimbursed for the grant next month. We'll Sherry or one of us, Leah or myself, will help you with the grant reimbursement. But the idea was to not sort of jumble us up, I guess, come July 1st, right? With the full build out. So they went back, talked to their programmers, figured out the pages that would make sense then for the full build out. I'm probably not saying this as eloquently as a web programmer would say it, but basically we'll have the architecture in place, we'll have those pages, and then we should just be as simple as boom, as far as the rest of the site. And I know Leah's going to help with the content, right? Because we can only do so much with the proposal and the dollars that we'll have for this grant, but Leah's going to help with the content on the pages. And I think that can be definitely, as we're all maybe looking at the site, once we get that up and running, and then we can give some feedback like, hey, this picture needs to be changed here, or this is not the right year or whatever. But that's kind of, planning wise, I think what we're, am I saying that correctly? I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The nerd in me is very excited to start writing the content and help out with that stuff. But if you guys do see anything that doesn't work, then please let me know. So.
Cool.
And it's not just me doing it. I mean, obviously, it's a group
Yeah.
effort with the KPS3 team and Dave
Sure.
and whatever. I just know, I wish we could all get together and work on it, but with
Yeah.
him listening over here, we really can't do that. So, but no,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be amazing, and I cannot wait to
Yeah.
just the little drips and drabs we've seen of the whole thing coming together. It looks so good. So be
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. And then we'll try to figure out a way with Lucas's guidance to bring like an agenda item back, so we can officially collectively get feedback from everybody, similar to what we did with the architecture, whatever we call that, but the pages. And so that's something, because otherwise, yes, it's very difficult for us, since we can't all just work behind the scenes on everything. So we have to operate in the groups of 2. But yeah, that's the plan. And hopefully, we'll put the hammer down on this, because it'd be great to have this up and running before we launch the Polar Express tickets in September, if possible. I don't know if KPS3 is listening. They probably just dropped dead on the floor.
They just wrote a really big invoice.
Or yeah. So that, I hope, because I think that'd be really cool, to get it done, and then we have the Polar, and we can have a whole the section we had talked about kind of for PEX. So yeah. So yeah. And if Leah is in charge of this, it'll get done, believe me. Intimidating, rascal. So yes. Yes.
I'll just use my mom voice a couple times. I'll be good.
That's the one that scares me, everybody. Okay, the next thing, so I'm very excited about this opportunity. September 29th, which is a Monday, so don't panic, but the Film Nevada Day tour.
Oh, you guys are doing it this?
Well, collectively. So you probably know more than I know, but we can't chat about stuff, until we get here. So this is the Cordillera film folks, right? And I had her name on the tip of my tongue, and Emily Skyle. Oh my gosh, Emily's
Golden.
gonna kill me. Yes, Emily, Golden Skiles. They want to start in Virginia City, and then they want to take our train down to Carson City, which I think is awesome. Get into our depot, Eastgate Depot. Oh, I'm sorry. They'll do up in Virginia City Depot. They want to do breakfast, ride the train down. We'll have Bloody Marys. It sounds like they've been working some of this stuff out before they get down to our depot. So Lydia on my team is on the Cordillera board. So she is the one that is in charge of the tour. And we had this last fall, if I'm not mistaken.
Virginia City has taken on Film Nevada Day 2, maybe 3 years. It is amazing. Anytime you can work with these people, I will fully endorse everything they do. They have brought film directors, producers, famous actors into Virginia City to witness. We've actually gotten 2 or 3 film projects out of Film Nevada Day, where directors have come back and filmed things in Virginia City. So getting the train involved will be huge, because these people will be fully engaged in what's going on. So
Well, and you stole some of what I was going to say. I mean, it had my name next to this one. Anyway, it's okay. Yes, I think this is amazing. And Tom has talked in front of this commission, and he and I have had conversations about not having to take the train set and put it on a truck and take it all around the country, right? Can we just have them do it here? And so my notes, in terms of what they're looking for specifically, as it relates to the train piece of this, is having someone to be able to point out easy filming locations. So as they're coming, down the hill, provide ease of access for the crew, right? Where can these folks, get in and out, I guess, with their dune buggies and trucks, and, how do they get the actors and all those folks? They want to know about historical facts along the 12 miles as a reference for what time period the equipment and tracks are
can
from.
I
Yeah,
interrupt you really
go
quickly?
ahead.
Is
Yeah,
this
yeah.
something where we could provide the VNT Railway Commission, Virginia City could provide docents and whatnot to be on the train in period attire?
That's
Like,
so.
we would totally give that to you guys to us.
See, now she was listening into my conversation with Lydia from a month ago, because that's exactly what Lydia and I were actually talking about,
We
and
would
thinking
donate
the
those.
same thing. And you've got the ladies who,
Yep.
if we do this right and we do this up, and so I see this as a partnership with Tom Candy, the VT Railroad and the Railway Commission, and maybe we can share in the costs of this as well. And I'm thinking, we could have wine or beer or whatever on the train and really do this right, because I think we have an amazing opportunity to just really put trains on the map for these folks. And if we got one movie made out of this on our track, like, it would pay for itself, X number of times. And so you were absolutely right. You had that. My comment was having actors at the depot upon arrival, and actually, just make this into a whole thing, almost like a little mini movie or whatever. I'm thinking FAM, but because we've done some stuff like this in the past, right, on the Reno Tahoe territory level, and folks up at the top, folks at the bottom, right at the Eastgate Depot, and I think just really make this an incredible experience for them. And I have some stats, which I feel compelled to just the participation piece, as Leah just said. There would be 100 plus top tier industry decision makers, as you said, studio executive producers, filmmakers, location scouts, directors, past attendees. We've had folks from Disney, Warner Brothers Studios, Netflix, Paramount, Panavision, and then major commercial and advertising production companies as well would be a part of this. And I have some other stats, but I think I can kind of just let that go. And you talked about the films that were taking place up there. So already, so I think this is a really cool, unique, I know it's a Monday, the 29th of September, Monday the 29th.
Always on Monday, I don't, because they do it after the
Because-
film festival. It's like the
Yes.
last thing before everybody takes off.
Yeah,
kind of,
yeah,
So,
that it is. And I mean, there's social media and there's global exposure too.
and I will also say that don't worry about any of the like build up to this. Emily's team is super, super
Yeah, they're on it.
on it. They will have everything dialed down to like the second of when they need to be there. Because the one thing you do need to keep in mind is this will be very short.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of time with them because they have a lot of other stuff to do, but their team is really good at dialing in their schedule, and we just have to fill in our people where we can. So
Yeah, I wish we did have more time, but I tried to bargain, and Lydia said, "Yeah,
tough.
no,
Yeah, no, it's really
It's to the minute, like a production basically." But yeah, I think this is a really cool opportunity for us, for VT Railroad as well, and Tom. And I think this gets at what Tom is really wanting to do, which is to
Oh.
keep this filming and utilize the track, right? I wanted them to get into the Carson River Canyon, but we don't have the time because I thought, my God, if you took those folks down and they're looking down at that shot, but no way.
But it doesn't stop them from getting contact information from everybody on that train. And we've had people come back on their own to do
Yeah.
scouting. So
Yeah,
just
yeah.
make sure everybody has cards and
Yep.
information, because they will definitely reach back out if they're interested at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So anyway, that's my update. I don't know if we need to bring something back for an official action or not, but I would like us to really consider this, as the commission, and to work with Tom to have the train. I couldn't remember off the top of my head. I don't know if we're running that weekend or not, because I thought the train could just be at the depot. We could stay overnight, provide security, and no, it can't. It does have to go back up because it's starting with you. That's right, because originally it was the other way, and then Lydia said, no, it because of the way they're coming up from Reno. So maybe if we're not running, it's okay because the train would already be up there. But I think to have the 18 do steam, we just knock it out of the park. Oh,
yeah.
okay. So if Candy, I mean, if it's
Yes, that's
okay,
what they do every year.
Candy, maybe talk to Tom, and then I'll call him when he's back too, but if we could see if he's open to this and getting the 18 up and running, because 100 plus people will, as we know more and we get closer, because there were 200 people last year. So I was thinking, well, we'd need all the cars, right? If it ends up being that many, but I don't know the specifics.
Usually it's in the morning, but I don't know if they're going to keep with that. The last 2 years that we've done it's been early.
Yeah, I have 9 a.m.
Yeah.
is when they will start, based on the arrival from Reno with Leah and the team, and then take the train down. I don't have like the per minute schedule. Lydia said
That takes a little bit,
that'll be more in the summer. They'll get all that resolved, but yeah. Oh, anyway, just I think a cool opportunity for us, and I'm happy to do whatever I need to do and help, and so cool. Well, that's my update. I don't know if anybody has any questions for me or not, but yeah, it is. I think this is a pretty cool deal. So with that, we'll move on to 15D, our next upcoming meeting right here in this room on Wednesday, June 25th. That'll be our last one for the fiscal year, so we'll have to deal with the transfer/augmentation, to true up our budget at that June meeting. So that'll definitely be something that we'll need to have on that one. So, okay. Please, we can go. Which one? Yes.
Or was that next or?
You want me to get to 16? Oh, yeah. She's just trying to get us out of here, We're at 22 minutes. I'm almost there. Okay, we'll move on to agenda item 16, commissioner comments, announcements, or requests for information. Yes, Stephanie.
I do have an update. I just wanted to advise the commission that Carson City's AB 32, which was our bill, we're assuming that it's basically dead at this point. However, we've been laying groundwork to have discussions on the railway in the interim, even though it won't be a formal study. We have been told by several legislators that they're very interested in still having an informal work study where we can talk about crafting legislation for next session in regards to some of the issues. Once we have a little bit more information, I'll ask Cameron, our government affairs liaison, to come and give an update. One thing I think we'll have to be ready for is if we do have that work study, we're going to have to be helping provide them information and being part of it. And I'll try to flesh that out a little bit more because they're going to need our input and participation in that. So just wanted to provide that update.
Okay, we'll provide our hourly rates as well to support the legislature for our input. Great. Leah or Clay, any comment, anything you want to add?
Nothing on that, but I do have, today at 1:00, I'm doing the second meeting for the Virginia City portion of Mark Twain Days. And I just wanted, I know I've asked this and I keep asking. I have my notes open right now so I can write it down. What the date is that we're running the Mark Twain train? It's October, it's a Friday, right? We're doing Friday evening.
I'm going to say 17.
So the 17th would be the Twain train. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Is that
if
right?
that was sold out, how many people would that be? Okay.
Which we definitely, with the VIP piece, yeah, we definitely want to. So go five cars?
5 cars, so then that would be another 100 people.
75 and 35, 110?
Okay.
Okay.
95 on top of the 210. Okay. And then what would be, this was the question that I got asked the most at our last meeting about this, when it would arrive in VC and depart from VC. Are we just going based off of what we did before? Where that's where I was like, I don't know.
So I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer to that question either, but
Mhm.
do you need that from Eric before?
No, I can reach out to Eric.
Okay, I was just going to say.
I was curious
okay.
if anybody knew, had talked to anyone from Eric's side or
Well,
whatever, so.
he does sit 30 feet from me. But the last conversation that I had with Eric, I think they're still waiting to hear back about which businesses are willing to be open in Virginia City that
Yeah, because see,
night.
our problem, and it's not a problem, our issue with this is having it on a Friday really is not convenient for Virginia City.
Mm,
Just because we have a lot going on with Hauntober and a bunch of other stuff going on. If it was on a Saturday, it would be amazing. So I just need to know,
gotcha.
I can't get confirmation from who's going to participate until I know more of when they want to leave.
Okay.
So,
And I know we shouldn't be having a discussion, but I would just say, let's talk to Eric
Okay.
and then see what he knows.
I
Yeah.
will reach out to him and see, but
Okay.
like I said, everybody's really excited to participate on a Saturday and possibly Sunday basis.
Gotcha.
But the Friday, I just really don't want everybody to come up and have nothing going on. So I was just hoping to get
Okay.
some times.
I
So,
agree.
but I will reach out to him on my own and
Thank
get
you.
all that.
Okay. Clay, I just want to give you an opportunity if there's anything you wanted to say on 16.
It's underwater.
Are you underwater, Clay? Are they waterboarding you? What's happening?
It's super loud here.
All right. All right. We'll go ahead and move on to agenda item 17, public comment. This is our final opportunity if anybody wants to make public comment. I'm not seeing anybody in the room. With that, I'll make a motion that we adjourn. We're adjourned.